Hi there, I'm Dale Mathis coming to you from my home studio in Sun City, Arizona, and I am doing an intro section to this video, and the main section of the video I did several years ago, and some things have come up in the years that I want to address. So the main section of the video is still all of that applies. But the thing I want to just mention right now is that when the main section of the video was done, we had a shop here in Arizona called Crown Music. Well, she's gone. That owner, Donna, she retired, and so now all the accordions and the purchase type of information is all coming from Craft Music in Milwaukee. So when I mentioned something about Crown Music, you have to ignore that part because I didn't want to have to redo the entire video. And then at the tail end of the extended video, I want to address a couple of new things that have come up that people have called me about over the years, and I thought it would be helpful to just address them either as you're just getting your first Roland accordion, or if you've got questions about your Roland accordion that you've never been able to understand. So here comes the main section of the video. See you later. Hi there, I'm Dale Mathis coming to you from my home studio in Sun City, Arizona. And today I want to talk about what you can expect when you first pick up a Roland digital accordion. They are different feeling from an acoustic accordion. If you've been playing on an acoustic accordion forever, 50 years, you will find that there are some things that you have to get used to. Now, if you're a brand new player to the accordion and you're first picking up the Roland accordion, you have nothing to compare it or judge it against. But if you've been playing an acoustic accordion for a long time, there are some things that you have to get accustomed to because there are some different things. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, after you've gotten the accordion out of the box and you've set it up, you've put the shoulder straps on, and you found the on-off button, for one thing, you'll either put batteries in. The batteries are rechargeable batteries, so you never want to put in batteries that are not rechargeable because they're at a different voltage. Now I'm using the Roland FR4X today, but whether you have a 4X or a 1X, those batteries are always rechargeable. The 1X takes 8 batteries, the 4X takes 10 batteries, and the 8X comes with its own battery pack from the Roland company. But if you are not going to use batteries and you're going to use the AC cord, a really good suggestion is when you plug that AC cord into the wall and you're going to plug it into the accordion, on the bottom of the accordion, I'm just going to stand up here and show you, it's a really good idea to take that AC cord and wrap it around the bottom of the strap here before you plug it in to the bottom of the accordion. And the reason is because if you're sitting in your favorite chair and you're moving your feet around, you're having a good time playing, and you happen to step on that AC cord and maybe you stand up, you could break the bottom of the accordion connection. And you don't want to do that because that, I'm sure, would be an expensive repair. So that's the first thing to think about. Okay, so now the next thing I want to talk about, and again I'm using the 4X because the things that I'm talking about here will apply with the 8X and the 1X, but more people are first-time players on the 4X, so that's why I'm using the 4X. So the first thing that you're going to feel when you open up the bellows straps and you play is, oh, why is this so hard? You know, on your acoustic accordion, it just goes like this. because you're having to move a lot of air over a bunch of reeds. Well, we don't have that on the Roland digital accordion. What we've got is there is some air going into the bellows, but it's just a tiny amount, and it just has to move this very tiny little sensor on the inside of the bellows to tell how much volume or how much accent or how much expression we want. So it's not like an acoustic accordion where you have to do all this kind of work. Relax. Take it easy. It's much easier to play the Roland digital accordion than it is to play most acoustic accordions, because you're just not having to do so much work. And there is a volume control on the front of the instrument, and let the volume of the instrument do the work. Now, if you're, I'm talking about instruments that have been purchased from Crown Music with the Dale Mathis programming. If your instrument is from some other source, then I don't know what software you've got in the instrument, and everything could be totally irrelevant. This is folks who are getting their new instrument from Crown Music with the Dale Mathis programming. So now, here's another thing to look at. On the side here, that's where your air button is, and of course we know about that. And you just push that, and the air goes through into the bellows. But what's different is you've got this round knob. And why would you have this round knob? Well, when I turn it, like so, I'm turning it counterclockwise, look what happens. Here's my hand, the bellows leak. And the reason they did this is for folks who are used to their old acoustic accordion where you had to have a lot of motion in the bellows. So Roland actually put a leak in the bellows. The noise of the air going through would drive me crazy, I think. But anyhow, so you get a lot of bellow motion. Now I'm going to close that off, turn it in the other direction, and now, and you see how very little bellows motion there is? So that's one of the things that I was talking about, is you don't need to work so hard. Just relax. So that's an important aspect that you need to have in your head. Is, you know, people get thinking, oh, the bellows are so hard. Well, that's because you're working too hard. Let the accordion do the work. You don't have to pull a bunch of air over reeds. This is a different kind of thing. It's sort of like a car with the old stick transmission. You had to do all that work. Get this foot going, that foot going, and this hand, and all this stuff. No, we don't have to do that. We put it in drive now, and it goes. And if it's like my electric car, I only use one foot for the accelerator. I don't even need the brake pedal, because when I take my foot off the accelerator, the car automatically brakes. So it doesn't even shift gears. There's only one gear in an electric car. It's forward or back, and no vroom, 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 no gear shifting, none of that stuff. So it's like the Roland accordion is sort of like the electric car, getting in with the times or whatever. All right, so anyhow, that's that little aside there. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is once you've got it turned on, and we're looking at these 7 registers on the 4X. So you've got registers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the way that I have them programmed is I have sounds from a lot of different accordions all in this group. So on traditional acoustic accordions, some of these buttons sound almost identical. But on the Roland, the way Dale Mathis has them programmed, there are different sounds. So the first one is a bassoon. Next one is a bandoneon. Next one has got a little bit of musette on it. You would never find that sound on an acoustic accordion because I use 16-foot reeds, or the bassoon reeds, to create that sound. Here's the master. And when you first turn the accordion on, it is the master sound. It just comes on automatically. Okay, and then number 5 is what we typically call the clarinet register. It's just one middle reed playing. And the number 6, I've got several middle reeds playing, and there's a musette. And the number 7 is the musette but dropped down an octave. So if you're playing a song and you do like switching from the master, which has got just a slight little musette on it, to a full musette, these are 2 registers that you can use, that you can change sounds within a song, and you really get some nice variety. So let's just take, I'm just going to do a little bit of Yellowbird. Let's start with the master. I'm going to switch to that other one. Go up the octave. Now take one of the other ones. So you can make some really nice sound changes, and you just have to use the 7 buttons when the accordion first turns on. You don't have to get into all kinds of complicated stuff. You can do so much creative and beautiful sounds just with the 7 buttons that are there. Okay, so now up to this point we have played just accordion sounds on both sides of the instrument, and keeping in this very first simple turn on thing, you might want to just get used to those 7 sounds and what they do, so that when you want a musette accordion, you know how to find it, because none of these buttons are marked. And the reason they're not marked is because they're all programmable. So it's kind of like the buttons on your car radio. You might have 5 buttons or 10 buttons or whatever, and they don't put this station is this one and this station is this one, because you can tell it what you want it to bring up for you. But I do want to add one more simple basic thing to this video, and that is these 2 buttons right here. This one is orchestra bass, and this one is orchestra chord. So at this point, what's playing in the left hand. Okay, now watch what happens when I turn on orchestra bass. Instead of this sound, I get this sound. It's got the string bass now. And when I hit the orchestra chord, instead of this sound, now I'm going to get the guitar player. So now, so here's that Yellowbird again, but with the orchestra bass and chord on. So just those simple kinds of things. You can create such beautiful music with this instrument, and you don't have to get real complicated. Just turn it on and experiment a little bit with those 7 register buttons, and maybe turn on the orchestra bass and chord to have those sounds instead of traditional accordion reed sounds. And then one last thing before I go, and that is I'm going to put the snaps back on here. And of course I do have batteries in this instrument, that's why I can get up and move around. And I always, for our customers, I always recommend a battery charger that we get from Amazon that will charge all 10 batteries at one time. So that way if you have 2 sets of batteries, 20 batteries, you can have one in the 4X and another set of batteries in the charger. And every 5 hours you just switch them back and forth. And there is a meter right on the top of the accordion that tells you when the batteries need to be changed. And of course if you don't pay attention to the meter, at some point the accordion will just stop. And it's okay. You won't lose any memory, it just stops. But the one other thing that I want to point out is at the bottom of the accordion, this plug right here is the headphone plug. And you can use any headphones. It will turn off the speakers in the accordion. And the headphones that I usually suggest for people is to get the type with the big muffs on that go completely over your ear for a couple of reasons. One, they're more comfortable, and two, the bass is so much better. And you really don't want those little ones that fit inside your ear because you could cause so much pressure to actually hurt your ears. And we don't want to be doing that. This is a for fun, enjoyable instrument. So we don't want to be doing any damage to our hearing. So getting the big muff kind, and 50, 60, 70 bucks typically will get you a really nice pair of headphones. And I usually just suggest them something from Amazon. And most headphones today come with those little mini plugs on, the 1/8 inch plugs, but usually they come with an adapter for the 1/4 inch that is on the accordion. If your headphones don't happen to have that 1/4 inch adapter on it, you can go to Walmart or even your local CVS drugstore and pick up an adapter for 3-4 bucks. So there you go. Okay, I'm back again, and in this addendum to this video, something that two things, important things that I just need to talk about again. First of all is that the Roland accordion bellows do not feel like your acoustic accordion bellows. I just always have to re-emphasize that. That big swooshing that you get on an acoustic accordion, you don't have that on here because you're not pushing tons of air through the bellows. You're just moving those sensors that are inside the bellows. So turn this accordion on and wait for it to go through its turn on process. Okay, so the next thing and this all relates to just when the accordion is first turned on, since most new owners, they need to understand that part first, is what has happened when you first turn the accordion on. So I am going to turn this camera down, and like one of the persons, actually a few, have had this discussion with me, is why is the volume different on the different accordion sounds? Well, the reason is because in an acoustic accordion, when you've got the master switch turned on, you've got 4 reeds playing, and then if you turn on the bassoon reed, well, a couple of things are happening. One, you've only got 1 reed playing per note, and the other is the bassoon setting is a soft, low pitch. And so, of course, they're not going to be equal volume. If you're expecting equal volume, you're expecting it to play like a home organ. And this is not a home organ. This is an accordion. So, examples. Take you back here again. Here's the master. Here's the bassoon. It's softer. It's going to be softer. That's normal. That's the way it's supposed to work. If you hit the bandoneon, it's going to be a little bit brighter and possibly sound a little louder. If I put number 3 on, that's a musette, and the musettes always sound a little bit louder. So if you listen to 2 and number 3, it has the sensation of being a little bit louder. Number 4 is the master, so it's going to be louder. And it's brighter in tonality. But now if you listen to number 5, that's just a single reed on a clarinet, the clarinet register on an acoustic accordion, or the middle reed, and so it's going to be a softer reed again. And of course, what happens when I've had conversations with folks is they say, well, why in your videos don't you get that? Well, 2 things. First of all, the cameras that I use have automatic level controls. So there is some of that going on where they're going to compensate for different levels in volume. But the other thing, this arm, it has 50 years experience. And so it automatically, this arm is connected to the brain up here. And there's some automatic compensation that goes on when I hear that the volume is lower. I'll work the arm a little bit more to try and compensate, try and even out the sound. So, example, take you back here again. Here's that master. And then I'll play the bassoon. I just pull a little harder to try and compensate for the volume difference. But it's never going to be the same as the master because the master is a much brighter sound. So, and that takes me to the next part of this, and that is people have asked, well, why aren't all of the orchestral sounds the same volume? And that's a more complex answer. So I'm going to take you in here and show you, turn on orchestra sound and hit register number 1, and that's the twangy guitar. Now, I'm going to take my left hand out. See, I don't even have to pull the bellows on that one. And the reason is I've got it set to a fixed volume. And the reason I did that is because that particular tone is set for high touch sensitivity. You know, like when you play on an electric guitar, and if you hit with the pick, if you hit a string a little too hard, it's going to twang. And if you miss the next one, it's not going to be very loud. And so I was looking for a more balanced sound for that particular sound. And the same was true with the Roland accordion, is that very difficult for most accordion players to get a decent sound on touch-sensitive keys, because like on a piano or a synthesizer, you're pushing the weight of your body into the keyboard, so you have a little bit more control. On the accordion, the weight has to come just from your arm into your body, and it's very difficult to keep any sort of consistent volume. So that one is set for a fixed volume. But now, so here's register number 1. It will make a difference how hard I hit the key, because there's a difference in tonality. But now listen to register number 2. This is a sound that I created to simulate the old quarterbox. Here, if I don't pull the bellows, nothing happens, or almost nothing. And even when I'm pulling the bellows, it's a very soft sound. And that's the nature of that sound. So if you are looking for all loud and bright sounds, just don't use that one. But if you're looking for stuff that's very mellow, or like how a quarterbox used to sound, where you would have that organ sound going in back of the accordion, there it's a good use. So let me just show you. So again, we've got that one on. And then I'm going to put an accordion bassoon on. And you know what, I'm going to get rid of, I don't want that sound. I'm going to put the orchestra bass and chord on. So here's the accordion. And I'm going to turn on the orchestra. So those two sounds blend together very nice. So a lot of this comes down to orchestration, that you've got to pick sounds that work well together. And then this is getting a little bit advanced for what we're talking as far as getting into this accordion first time, but I'm going to do something more interesting here. I've got the organ sound, and I'm going to have the accordion sound playing at the same time. So now it's more like the old quarter box, where the organ was always playing in the background and then you'd play the accordion on top of it. Okay, and then going back to more of these sounds, when I hit on number 3, the saxophone player, that one does respond to what you do with your bellows. Number 4, the vibes, you don't have to, it will play without the bellows, but if you get the bellows going, it will play louder. And again, that's all in the settings. So the bottom line of all of this is that this is not a home organ where everything is balanced to be exactly the same sound and you don't even have to have your foot in the expression pedal. No, this is an accordion. So you do have to use the bellows to compensate for certain things, and you also have to pick out your sounds that blend well together. So as I mentioned, the bassoon accordion sound and the old quarter box organ sound, those are nice combinations, but if you use the bassoon accordion sound and the twangy guitar is always going to be louder than that accordion sound. So I hope that helps, and of course I want you to watch this video before you even receive your accordion from Craft Music, so that you have some expectation that there are differences in this instrument versus if you played an old quarter box or if you played a Lowry home organ. You know, those are different kinds of instruments. So I hope you have fun, and of course you're always welcome to give me a call. And so the contact at Craft Music again is David Hall in Milwaukee, and my Arizona phone number, I'll put that in here too. If you're a brand new owner and there's some things you can't figure out, give me a call. All right, thanks so much for watching, and have a good time with your new accordion.